Catholic leaders in the United States are also reacting. Archbishop Jose Gomez of Los Angeles welcomes the changes to the catechism and says he's grateful to Pope Francis for his leadership. But he says, quote, the catechism is not equating capital punishment with the evils of abortion and euthanasia. This shift could have an impact on lawmakers across the country. Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York says he will now introduce a bill to remove the death penalty from state law. Cuomo remains a strong supporter of abortion. Nebraska is also wrestling with the issue. Its bishops are calling on the state to halt an upcoming execution, cited yesterday's announcement by the Vatican. In a statement, they write, simply put, the death penalty is no longer needed or morally justified in Nebraska. Nebraska's Republican governor, Pete Ricketts, a Catholic, has said in the past that he supports capital punishment. Joining me now from Omaha is Deacon Omar Gutierrez, an expert in Catholic social teaching. Deacon Gutierrez, welcome to the program. The revision of the catechism comes at a time when Nebraska is facing its first execution in more than 2 decades. Why are the bishops getting involved?
Well, they're getting involved because they're fulfilling their obligation as bishops to govern, to sanctify, and to teach the faith. And we have a situation here in Nebraska, and the bishops are simply living out their call.
Well, Governor Ricketts, a Catholic, as I mentioned, has been a leading advocate for restoring the death penalty in Nebraska. In 2015, he actually vetoed legislation that repealed capital punishment. And when the state's legislator overrode his veto, he helped fund a ballot measure that reinstated it. So what is he saying to the bishops?
Well, his response yesterday especially was that he needs this as a tool to protect his guards and to protect the public safety. But to my knowledge, he hasn't given any real reason for that, particularly in light of the upcoming execution scheduled of a man who poses no danger to his guards or to the public safety.
Well, do you see the effort to end executions in Nebraska as a practical response to Pope Francis' action?
In a certain sense, although in truth, the bishops have been saying the same thing for decades now. Several bishops have been preaching against the death penalty as they assess the current situation here in Nebraska and have said, look, it just isn't applicable here at this time and we shouldn't be using it.
Well, some critics are asking if the renewed focus on the death penalty is a distraction from the reform that many say need to take place in the church. What's your take on that?
Well, I think we all agree a reform needs to take place. But that having been said, the bishops here in Nebraska certainly have no control over what the Holy Father says. And the Holy Father, I think he said this on the 25th anniversary of the Catechism. So that has its own timing. And the bishops are just here in Nebraska responding to the situation on the ground here.
Okay, very good. Well, I know this is an issue that Catholics across the country and across the world are continuing to pray about. Deacon Omar Gutierrez, author and expert in Catholic social teaching, coming to us from Omaha. Thanks so much, Deacon.
My pleasure. Thanks.